you get a chance if I take you for a ride.
They called it protecting the public. In the 1990s, some of the biggest pop songs on the planet were pulled from the airwaves without warning. These were anthems, songs you still know every word to, and someone decided the world wasn't allowed to hear them. It couldn't last. Number 10, Radiohead, Creep.
Couldn't look you in the eye.
Close your eyes for a second. You're sitting in your bedroom in 1992. It's late at night. The radio is low. And then this song comes on a quiet guitar, a gentle voice, and then bang, that chord hits out of nowhere like someone just kicked in the door.
You're just like an angel.
That moment right there is what Creep sounds like. It doesn't ease you in. It grabs you. And for a whole generation of people who felt like outsiders, it felt like the only song that really understood them.
Your skin makes me cry.
Creep was recorded in 1992 at Chipping Norton Recording Studios in Oxfordshire, England. It was produced by Sean Slade and Paul Q. Coldery and released by Parlophone Records as Radiohead's debut single.
You float like a feather.
The song is about longing, about watching someone from a distance and feeling like you'll never be good enough to be near them. When those words hit different when you're young and you feel invisible.
In a beautiful world.
The song barely made a dent in the UK when it first came out, but when it broke in Israel, of all places, played constantly on local radio, it started a slow global ripple that eventually turned into a wave. By 1993, it was climbing charts worldwide.
I wish I was special.
Here's something that always gets people. BBC Radio 1, one of the biggest radio stations in the world, banned this song when it first came out. They called it too depressing for daytime listeners. They also had issues with a certain word in the chorus that we can't say here.
You're so fucking special.
The BBC banned it. Then months later, when the world fell in love with it, they quietly reversed the ban and started playing it constantly. You couldn't hear it, and then suddenly you couldn't escape it. Here's the honest truth about Creep.
But I'm a creep.
And it became so massive that Radiohead themselves started to hate it. They refused to play it live for years. They called it embarrassing. And when a band distances itself from its own most famous song, the press and the public start to see it differently, less like a classic, more like a novelty. But for the people who first heard it at just the right moment in their lives, when they were hurting, when they felt alone, no band could ever take that away. Coming up, the song so popular it topped the charts for 5 straight weeks, even after they tried to bury it. Number 9, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny.
Now this one is interesting because when most people hear this song today, they laugh. They quote it. They dance to it at weddings. It's become almost cartoonish in how fun it sounds, but in 1992, when this song dropped, it caused a genuine panic.
Girl walks in with an itty-bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Wanna pull up?
Not underground, not in a small market. On the biggest music video channel in the world, Baby Got Back was written and performed by Anthony Ray, known as Sir Mix-a-Lot, and released on Deaf American Recordings in 1992. It was produced by Sir Mix-a-Lot and Rick Rubin's team.
Tough, 'cause you notice that butt was stuffed deep in the jeans she's wearing. I'm hooked and I can't.
And it was recorded in Seattle. The song celebrates the female body in a way that mainstream pop music almost never did at that time, directly, loudly, and completely unapologetically.
I'm staring, oh baby, I wanna get with ya and take your picture.
MTV banned the video outright. The opening scene, 2 women speaking dismissively about a black woman's figure, followed by Mix-a-Lot turning that whole conversation on its head, was too much for MTV's standards team.
Oh boys tried to warn me, but that butt you got makes
me so horny.
Ooh, rumpa smooth skin.
They pulled it before it even had a chance to get traction. Here's what makes this band one of the most embarrassing in pop history. Despite MTV refusing to air it and conservative radio stations pulling it off the dial, it still hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there for 5 weeks.
You say you wanna get in my bins? Well, use me, cause you ain't that average.
5 weeks at #1 on a song that the biggest music channel in America refused to show. The people voted with their wallets, and they voted loud because it became a joke. Not a bad joke, but a joke all the same.
It's groupie, I seen her dancing. To hell with romance and she's sweat.
By the time the 2000s arrived, it was a punchline, a costume, a Saturday Night Live skit. And people stopped hearing it as a genuine cultural statement and started hearing it as a novelty.
Wet, got it going like a turbo vet. I'm tired of magazines.
But at its core, this was a song pushing back against a very specific kind of beauty standard. And in 1992, that was brave enough to get banned. Stay with me. #8 involves one of the most creative artists of the decade and a video so bold it was refused entirely.
Hey, Pop Lore family. Did you know only 1% of viewers are subscribed? If you love deep dives into pop legends, forgotten gems, and the stories behind the songs that shaped generations, hit that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to turn on LL notifications so you'll be the first to know when we premiere our next video. It's free, it helps Pop Lore grow, and it makes sure you never miss a single countdown or music story. Let's build this community together.
Every story you see here takes hours of digging, piecing together history, and bringing forgotten moments back to life. If you'd like to support that work, you can become a channel member. It's just the cost of a cup of coffee, but it helps us keep these stories alive, and for that, we're grateful. #8, George Michael, Too Funky. George Michael in 1992 was at one of the most fascinating and frustrating points in his career. He was one of the best-selling solo artists on the planet. He had the looks, the voice, the songwriting talent, everything. And yet, he was slowly building a case against the people who controlled his music. Too Funky walked right into the middle of that battle and got caught in the crossfire. Too Funky was written and produced by George Michael and released in 1992 on Epic Records as part of the Red Hot Plus Dance Charity compilation, a project raising money for AIDS research. The song itself is a glossy, up-tempo, club-ready track. It sounds expensive. It sounds like a night out in the most glamorous city in the world. But the video, directed by legendary fashion designer Thierry Mugler, was something else entirely. It featured a runway show with supermodels in extremely provocative costumes, scenes of bondage-inspired fashion, and imagery that MTV's standards team decided was simply not going to air. The video was eventually released in a heavily censored version for television, but the original cut, the full Thierry Mugler vision, circulated underground. In a pre-internet world, people were passing VHS copies around like contraband, which of course made it even more desirable. The band didn't bury it. It made it legendary in club circles. Because Too Funky was released in the shadow of something much bigger. The same year, George Michael launched a very public and very painful legal battle against Sony Music. And he claimed they had him trapped in a contract that treated him like a piece of property, not an artist. The lawsuit dominated headlines for years, and in all that noise, Too Funky, this genuinely brilliant pop song got lost. It deserved a full album campaign. Instead, it became a footnote in a legal story. Up next, a song that ruled the charts despite being refused by most daytime radio in the entire country. Number 7. R. Kelly, Bump and Grind. There was a period in the early 1990s when R&B was making a transition. It was moving away from the big orchestral soul sound of the 1980s and into something darker. More intimate, more bedroom-focused, R. Kelly was one of the key architects of that shift. Bump and Grind arrived in 1993, and it sounded like nothing on mainstream pop radio. It was slow, it was direct, and it made a lot of program directors very, very uncomfortable. Bump and Grind was written and produced by R. Kelly and released on Jive Records in 1993 from his debut album 12 Play. The production is stripped back, minimal drums, smooth synths, Kelly's voice doing most of the heavy lifting. The lyrics are about desire. They are explicit, not in a gratuitous way, but in a way that left absolutely nothing to the imagination. The FCC, America's broadcast regulator, was receiving complaint after complaint in 1993 about sexual content on commercial radio. Stations were nervous. Program directors at major market stations across the U.S. pulled the song from daytime rotation. Some banned it from all time slots. Here's the irony. Despite all those bans, despite being refused by a huge chunk of commercial radio in the most important music market in the world, Bump and Grind hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It stayed there for 12 weeks. 12 weeks at the top of the pop chart on a song that mainstream radio refused to touch. That tells you everything about how powerful word of mouth and urban radio were in that era. The honest answer here is complicated. R. Kelly's legacy has been re-examined very seriously in recent years, and there are very real reasons for that. Now, what we can say about the music, the production, the vocal performance, the influence on 1990s R&B is that it was genuinely impactful. The sound he built on songs like this one shaped a generation of pop and R&B artists who followed. Coming up, a woman's rage so real and so raw that radio didn't know what to do with it. Number 6, Alanis Morissette, You Ought to Know.
I know the version of me. Is she perverted like me?
There is a specific kind of anger that 1990s pop radio was not built to handle. Polished anger, maybe. Soft anger with a nice melody around it, sure. But raw, unfiltered female fury? That was something different entirely.
Would she go down on you in a theater?
You Ought to Know arrived in 1995, and it was like someone had thrown a lit match into a very dry room. Radio stations didn't know whether to play it or run from it. You Ought to Know was written by Alanis Morissette and Glenn Ballard, produced by Glenn Ballard, and released on Maverick Records as the lead single from her landmark album Jagged Little Pill. The band on the recording included Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers and Dave Navarro, which gave it a rock edge that sat uncomfortably inside the pop world. The unedited version was refused by the majority of U.S. mainstream pop radio stations. There were two specific lines that stopped program directors cold. BBC Radio 1 only played the edited version. Multiple UK commercial stations refused it in any form. During daytime hours, the unedited version was effectively locked out of the pop radio world on both sides of the Atlantic. Here's what nobody expected. The album Jagged Little Pill went on to sell 33 million copies worldwide. 33 million. It became one of the best-selling albums in history. And the song that radio refused to play in its real form, the angry, uncut, honest version, became the emotional centerpiece of the whole record. The bands didn't weaken it. They made people more determined to find it. It's not really forgotten, but here's what gets overlooked. This song changed the rules for what women were allowed to say in pop music. Before You Ought to Know, female pop artists were expected to be sad about breakups.
It's not fair to deny me.
They were supposed to cry prettily. They were not supposed to be furious. They were not supposed to call people out by name, by deed, and by scene. Alanis Morissette blew that door off its hinges in 1995, and the fact that radio tried to keep that door shut makes the moment even more powerful, looking back at it. Stay close, where we're getting into the songs that didn't just upset radio programmers, they scared actual governments. Number 5, The Prodigy, Firestarter. Most of the stories on this list involve broadcast executives making nervous decisions, but number 5 is different. Number 5 went all the way to the halls of government, literally. By 1996, The Prodigy had been building something enormous underground for years. Firestarter was the moment they dragged it into the daylight and into the Houses of Parliament. Firestarter was written by Keith Flint, Liam Howlett, Art of Noise, and the Ultravox, produced by Liam Howlett and released on XL Recordings in 1996. It hit number 1 in the UK almost immediately. The energy was ferocious, distorted guitars, breakbeat drums, Keith Flint in the video looking like something that had crawled out of the underground and decided it owned the surface now. The BBC restricted airplay. Several European broadcasters followed, and then a sitting member of Parliament, David Alton, stood up in the House of Commons and formally demanded the BBC ban the song entirely. His argument was that it glorified arson and would inspire young people to set fires. Think about that for a moment. A pop song about being a troublemaker performed by a man in a tunnel with crazy hair was considered serious enough to be debated in the British Parliament. Keith Flint went from underground rave performer to public enemy almost overnight, and he absolutely loved it. In interviews at the time, you could see how much energy that controversy gave him. The government's panic was the best possible advertisement the song could have had. Firestarter is not forgotten by people who were there, but for younger listeners, which it gets treated as a novelty, a crazy 90s moment. What gets lost is how genuinely subversive it was. This was not a band trying to shock people for attention. This was a band that had spent years building a sound that existed completely outside the mainstream pop machine. Firestarter was a bomb going off right in the middle of polite pop culture, and they meant every second of it. Up next, the same band went even further, and this time the BBC didn't just restrict it, they banned it completely. Number 4, The Prodigy, Smack My Bitch Up. If Firestarter rattled the cage, Smack My Bitch Up tore the whole cage apart. 1 year after Parliament debated their last single, The Prodigy came back with something that made Firestarter look mild. The title alone was enough. You didn't need to hear a single second of the song. The title had radio stations, women's groups, and broadcast regulators reaching for the phone before it had even been released. Smack My Bitch Up was written by Liam Howlett and K-Seun Thomas, produced by Liam Howlett, and released on XL Recordings in 1997 from the album The Fat of the Land. The BBC banned it outright, no airplay, no exceptions. Multiple European countries placed it under severe broadcast restrictions. Germany, Ireland, and several other markets either banned it completely or refused to touch it. MTV refused to air the video in standard hours, restricting a censored version to an after midnight slot. Women's rights groups in the UK petitioned broadcasters formally to pull it entirely. It was one of the most coordinated institutional responses to a pop song in British broadcasting history. The music video, directed by Jonas Åkerlund, told a first-person story. You experienced everything through the eyes of the narrator. It was dark, it was graphic, and it had a twist ending that completely recontextualized everything you just watched. Even in its censored form, it was almost impossible to see on mainstream television anywhere in Europe. The full uncut version became one of the most sought-after music videos of the decade. People talk about it to this day. The Prodigy's legacy gets defined by these two songs, and in some ways, that's unfair to both. There is an entire body of work underneath them that rarely gets the attention it deserves. But looking at these two songs, specifically Firestarter and Smack My Bitch Up, back to back, you are looking at one band going to war with the entire idea of what pop music was allowed to sound like, say, and show. Most artists would have backed down after the first fight. The Prodigy escalated. That takes a certain kind of courage or recklessness, probably both. We are in the top 3 now, and the next entry didn't just get banned, it rewrote the rules of what pop stardom looked like after a ban. Number 3, Madonna, Justify My Love.
I wanna kiss you in Paris.
By 1990, Madonna had already been through censorship. She had already had fights with the Catholic Church, with the American Family Association, with practically every conservative group in America. She was used to the heat. But Justify My Love was different. This one didn't just cause controversy, it made history.
your hand in Rome.
Justify My Love was written by Madonna and Lenny Kravitz, produced by Madonna and Andre Betts, and released on Sire Records in 1990.
I wanna run naked in a rainstorm.
The spoken word verses were inspired by writing from Ingrid Chavez, which became the subject of legal discussion afterward.
Make love in a train, cross country.
The music itself was slow, hypnotic, and deeply unsettling in the most beautiful way, almost like a film score wrapped around a whispered confession.
You put this in me. So
MTV looked at the music video directed by Jean-Baptiste Mondino and filmed in a Paris hotel and made a decision that had never been made before.
now what? So now what?
They refused to air it. Not at night. Not in an edited form, not ever. Justify My Love became the first music video in MTV history to be banned outright.
Wanting, needing, wait.
Madonna didn't sulk. She didn't apologize. She turned the ban into a business move. Within days, she released the video as a commercial VHS single, one of the first artists ever to do that.
For you to justify my love.
It sold over 400,000 copies in a single week. The band didn't kill the video. It turned it into a product, and the product flew off shelves.
Hoping, praying.
Madonna reportedly described the whole situation as the best thing that could have happened to it. She wasn't wrong.
For you to justify my love.
People remember the band, they remember the controversy. And what often gets lost is how genuinely intimate and artistic the song itself was. Underneath all the noise about the video, there was a piece of music that was genuinely unusual, quiet, dreamlike, almost literary in its tone. It didn't sound like anything else on the radio in 1990. The scandal overshadowed the song, and that's a shame because the song was something special. Number 2, the same artist 2 years later on an even bigger stage facing something even more organized. Number 2, Madonna, Erotica.
Romance.
2 years after Justify My Love, Madonna decided to push further, much further. And what happened next wasn't just a single ban from a single broadcaster. What happened was something closer to a worldwide closing of the door. And it happened to one of the biggest pop stars in the history of the music industry. Erotica was written, produced by Madonna and Shep Pettibone, and released on Maverick/Sire Records in October 1992. It arrived simultaneously with Madonna's book called Sex, a Coffee Table Book, featuring explicit photography that landed in bookstores the same week.
I'll be your mistress tonight.
The combination was intentional, and the combination was too much for the pop world to handle.
I'd like to put you in a trance. If I take you.
The Irish government banned the song outright, not restricted banned. In the United States, the majority of mainstream pop radio stations refused to add it to rotation.
From behind, push myself into your mind when you least expect it.
Across multiple continents, program directors looked at the title, looked at the timing of the book release, and said no. It was one of the most coordinated industry-wide refusals of a mainstream pop single ever recorded.
You try to reject it. If I'm in charge.
Here's the number that should stop you in your tracks despite the Irish government ban, despite the US radio refusal, despite being locked out of mainstream rotation on 2 continents. Erotica still reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 3 in the UK.
And I treat you like a child. Will you let yourself go wild?
It charted in the top 3, almost entirely on sales alone. No radio support, just people walking into shops and buying it. That tells you everything about how devoted Madonna's audience was and how furious they were that someone had tried to take the music away from them.
Let my mouth go where it wants to. Give it up, do as I say.
The honest answer is that Erotica got buried under the weight of its own moment. The sex book got so much attention, so much outrage, so much coverage that the song itself became almost secondary to the cultural storm around it.
Give it up and let me have my way. I'll give you love, I'll hit you like a truck. I'll give you.
And when the storm passed, people remembered the controversy more than the music, but listen back to it now, stripped of everything that surrounded it. It's a brilliant piece of pop production, dark, controlled, stylish, a song that deserved more than to be remembered as the thing that came with the book.
I'll teach you how to. I'd like to put you.
And now, number 1. The story that didn't just end in a ban. It ended in something that should never have been allowed to happen.
Hey, Pop Lore family. Did you know only 1% of viewers are subscribed? If you love deep dives into pop legends, forgotten gems, and the stories behind the songs that shaped generations, hit that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to turn on LL notifications so you'll be the first to know when we premiere our next video. It's free, it helps Pop Lore grow, and it makes sure you never miss a single countdown or music story. Let's build this community together.
Every story you see here takes hours of digging, piecing together history, and bringing forgotten moments back to life. If you'd like to support that work, you can become a channel member. It's just the cost of a cup of coffee, but it helps us keep these stories alive, and for that, we're grateful. Number 1. Sinéad O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You.
It's been 7 hours and 50 days.
You know this song, that close-up of her face, those eyes, that single tear. It hit number 1 in 17 countries and became one of the most played videos in MTV history, and then 2 years later, someone tried to erase it entirely.
Since you took your love.
Nothing Compares to You was written by Prince, produced by Nelly Hooper, and released on Ensign Records in 1990. On the 3rd of October, 1992, Sinéad O'Connor appeared on Saturday Night Live and tore up a photograph of Pope John Paul II on live television.
I go out every night and sleep.
There are different versions of this story. Some people say it was deliberate provocation. But in interviews over many years, Sinéad O'Connor explained she was pointing at the abuse of children by Catholic clergy years before that scandal became public knowledge worldwide.
Since you took your
And what is not disputed is what happened next. Within 48 hours, MTV banned every one of her videos. Radio stations across America pulled her music. U.S. senators condemned her publicly. A week later, she was booed off stage at Madison Square Garden. She held her ground and sang anyway.
since you've been gone, I can do
20 years later, the scandal she was pointing at was confirmed on a scale that shocked the world. History came around.
whatever I want.
Nothing Compares to You is still one of the most beautiful pop songs ever recorded. No band could ever change that.